Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why some people seem to walk with a different kind of power? Why do certain individuals carry an undeniable presence, a wisdom that defies human understanding, and a peace that remains unshaken even in the midst of storms? The presence of the divine is not just a concept, but a living reality that transforms everything it touches. Throughout history, those who carried this presence were unmistakable. There was something different about them. They walked with an authority that could not be explained by mere human wisdom. They carried a peace that remained unshaken, even in the face of storms. They had a clarity of purpose that defied logic, making decisions that seemed risky to others, but led to undeniable success. This presence is not reserved for a select few. It is available to anyone willing to cultivate it, honor it, and prioritize it above all else. To understand the essence of divine presence, one must first recognize that it is not automatic. It is something that must be pursued, cherished, and protected. Just as a person cannot build a meaningful relationship by occasional interaction, one cannot experience the fullness of divine presence by mere convenience. It requires intentionality, devotion, and a heart fully yielded to the pursuit of deeper spiritual intimacy. Many desire the power, the wisdom, and the supernatural intervention that comes with this presence, yet few are willing to pay the price to sustain it. Those who carry this presence are distinguished not by their words alone, but by their actions. They walk differently, speak differently, and operate at a higher level of wisdom. They do not react to situations the way ordinary people do, because they operate from a place of divine insight rather than human emotion. This presence brings an awareness that is beyond natural perception, an ability to see beyond the surface and discern what others cannot. Is why those who possess it are often sought after for guidance, leadership, and counsel. Their presence alone shifts the atmosphere, bringing peace where there's chaos and clarity where there's confusion. However, the presence of the divine is not something to be taken lightly. It is possible to grieve, quench, or lose the intimacy of this connection by neglecting the principles that sustain it. Just as a fire must be tended to remain ablaze, so must the presence of the divine be nurtured through a life of honor, obedience, and devotion. Many people experience moments of deep connection but fail to sustain it because they allow distractions, compromises, and complacency to creep in. What was once a vibrant relationship becomes distant, not because the divine withdrew, but because they drifted away without realizing it. True transformation happens when a person chooses to prioritize this presence above all else. When they begin to value divine guidance more than human approval, divine wisdom more than personal ambition, and divine instruction more than their own understanding, everything begins to shift. Opportunities open, doors that seemed impossible to access become attainable, and a new level of supernatural grace begins to operate in their lives. This is the essence of divine presence, an undeniable reality that not only changes the individual, but impacts everyone and everything around them. To live a life that is truly pleasing to the divine, one must walk in alignment with divine will. This alignment is not based on personal preferences, cultural trends, or human emotions. It is rooted in an unwavering commitment to divine purpose. Many people struggle to experience spiritual fulfillment because they attempt to walk their own path while expecting divine blessings to follow. However, true power and supernatural guidance are only released when a person surrenders their own desires and fully embraces the higher calling set before them. Alignment requires a shift in perspective. It is not about asking the divine to approve personal plans, but rather seeking to understand and fulfill the purpose that has already been established. This requires humility, the ability to acknowledge that divine wisdom far surpasses human reasoning. When a person aligns themselves with divine will, they begin to operate under a different set of principles. They are no longer moved by external circumstances because their confidence is rooted in something greater. Even when the path is unclear, they move forward with assurance, knowing that divine direction will always lead them to the right destination. Many people hesitate to align themselves fully with divine will because they fear losing control over their lives. They believe that surrender means limitation, when in reality, it brings true freedom. Walking in divine alignment does not strip a person of their identity. Rather, it refines and elevates them to their highest potential. It is in this alignment that hidden gifts are revealed, new doors of opportunity open, and supernatural favor becomes evident. Those who align themselves with divine purpose never have to chase after success. Success finds them because they are walking in the flow of divine provision. Alignment also requires discipline. It is not enough to claim devotion in words. True alignment is demonstrated in daily choices. Every action, decision, and habit either draws a person closer to divine purpose or pulls them away from it. Those who seek to live in alignment must constantly evaluate their priorities. Are they making choices based on temporary gratification, or are they operating with an eternal mindset? Are they more concerned with pleasing people, or are they focused on remaining faithful to divine principles? These questions determine whether a person is truly aligned or merely walking in self-deception. The rewards of alignment are undeniable. When a person fully submits to divine will, they experience clarity where there was once confusion, peace where there was once anxiety, and strength where there was once struggle. They no longer have to force doors open because divine alignment ensures that the right opportunities present themselves at the right time. Obstacles that once seemed impossible become stepping stones to greater purpose. Instead of living in frustration and uncertainty, they walk with confidence, knowing that they are exactly where they need to be. Aligning with divine will is the highest form of wisdom. It is the path to true fulfillment, lasting success, and unshakable peace. Those who choose this path may not always have the easiest journey, but they will always have the assurance that they are walking in the purpose they were created for. Obedience is the key that unlocks the fullness of divine presence, favor, and supernatural guidance. Many people desire to experience the power and wisdom that come from walking closely with the divine, yet they struggle to fully submit to the principles that govern such a relationship. Obedience is not about following rules for the sake of compliance. It is about trust, love, and alignment with divine purpose. It is the highest expression of faith because it requires action even when logic, emotions, or external circumstances suggest otherwise. Those who truly walk in obedience understand that it is not about personal convenience, but about honoring a higher calling that leads to ultimate fulfillment. The greatest test of obedience is often in the small, seemingly insignificant instructions. Many people wait for grand moments of divine direction while ignoring the simple steps that prepare them for greater assignments. True obedience is demonstrated in the consistency of everyday decisions. It is found in choosing integrity when no one is watching, in speaking truth when deception is easier, and in following divine direction even when it does not make immediate sense. These small acts of obedience create an environment where divine wisdom flows freely, allowing a person to operate at a higher level of clarity and discernment. Obedience is also directly connected to trust. When a person fully trusts divine wisdom, they do not hesitate to act upon instructions, even when those instructions challenge their comfort. Many people struggle with obedience because they fear the unknown. They question whether following divine guidance will lead to loss or limitation. However, those who have experienced the power of obedience understand that divine instructions are always for their ultimate good. What may seem like a sacrifice in the moment often leads to blessings far beyond what they could have imagined. Throughout history, those who walked in great spiritual power were those who obeyed without hesitation. They understood that obedience was not just about receiving blessings, but about maintaining a deep and unbreakable connection with the divine. When obedience becomes a lifestyle, divine favor becomes a constant companion. Miracles, breakthroughs, and supernatural provision follow those who have positioned themselves in alignment through their actions. The divine does not bless partial obedience. It honors those who follow completely, even when the path is unclear. Disobedience, on the other hand, carries consequences. It creates distance, disrupts divine flow, and blocks the very blessings that people seek. Many individuals find themselves struggling with confusion, frustration, and stagnation because they have ignored or resisted divine instructions. The most dangerous place to be is outside of divine alignment, where one is left vulnerable to unnecessary struggles and missed opportunities. The rewards of obedience are undeniable. It brings unshakable peace, supernatural wisdom, and divine acceleration. Those who live in obedience do not have to force their way into success. Success is drawn to them because they are walking in the flow of divine purpose. They do not live in fear or uncertainty because they know that every step they take is guided, protected, and blessed. Obedience is not a burden. It is the key to a life of divine favor, supernatural empowerment, and lasting fulfillment. Ignorance is one of the greatest obstacles to experiencing the fullness of divine power, favor, and guidance. It is not a lack of intelligence, but a lack of knowledge and understanding of spiritual principles. Many people struggle in life, not because they are incapable or unwilling, but because they simply do not know the truth that could set them free. The most dangerous thing about ignorance is that it keeps people bound in cycles of frustration, stagnation, and confusion without them even realizing the root cause of their struggles. What a person does not know can limit them, delay their progress, and even separate them from divine blessings. Ignorance creates a barrier between individuals and divine purpose. When people do not understand the principles that govern spiritual growth, they wander aimlessly, hoping for divine intervention while unknowingly violating the very laws that would bring them success. A person who lacks knowledge may pray for wisdom, but continue to make poor decisions, simply because they have not sought to understand divine instruction. Many doors remain closed not because they are locked, but because people do not have the knowledge required to open them. The difference between those who walk in supernatural favor and those who struggle in uncertainty is often not effort, but revelation. One of the most dangerous aspects of ignorance is that it allows deception to take root. When people lack knowledge, they become vulnerable to false teachings, manipulation, and counterfeit spirituality. They may chase after superficial experiences while missing the deeper truths that lead to real transformation. Ignorance blinds individuals to their true potential, causing them to settle for far less than what was intended for them. It keeps them enslaved to fear, doubt, and uncertainty when they were meant to walk in confidence, authority, and divine power. Another consequence of ignorance is missed opportunities. Divine instructions often come with specific guidance, but those who lack understanding fail to recognize these moments when they arrive. They pray for answers, but overlook the signs that have already been placed before them. They desire breakthroughs, but ignore the small steps of obedience required to activate them. Ignorance does not only delay progress, it can cause people to reject their own blessings simply because they do not recognize them when they come. The good news is that ignorance is not a permanent condition. Knowledge is available to those who seek it. The first step to overcoming ignorance is humility, the willingness to admit that there is more to learn and a deeper level of understanding to attain. Those who actively pursue wisdom will find that doors begin to open. Clarity replaces confusion, and divine direction becomes clearer. Seeking knowledge requires effort, discipline, and a genuine desire to grow, but the rewards are immeasurable. Breaking free from ignorance leads to transformation. A person who once struggled with uncertainty gains confidence. Where there was once frustration, there is now peace. Instead of wandering aimlessly, they walk with purpose, understanding that they are no longer bound by what they do not know. The pursuit of divine wisdom is the pathway to unlocking the greatest levels of favor, power, and fulfillment in life. And a relationship with the divine is not built in a single moment. It is cultivated over time through intentionality, devotion, and consistency. Many desire a deep and meaningful connection with the supernatural, but few are willing to invest in the process required to sustain it. Just like any valuable relationship, this connection requires effort, commitment, and an unwavering desire to grow closer. The depth of one's spiritual life is not determined by occasional experiences, but by the daily pursuit of divine presence. A strong relationship is developed through communication. One cannot build intimacy by only reaching out when in need. Many people treat the divine as a last resort, turning to spiritual matters only when faced with difficulty. However, true connection is nurtured in both the good times and the challenging moments. It is developed through consistent engagement, whether in prayer, meditation, or deep reflection. Those who cultivate this relationship do not wait for crisis to seek guidance. They walk in continuous communion, ensuring that their spiritual foundation is strong even before difficulties arise. Time and priority play a significant role in developing this relationship. A person cannot claim to value something while consistently neglecting it. Many individuals struggle to experience deeper spiritual fulfillment simply because they have not made it a priority. Distractions, responsibilities, and worldly pursuits often take precedence, leaving little room for divine connection. Just as a neglected friendship or marriage eventually weakens, so does the relationship with the divine when it is not intentionally nurtured. Those who truly desire closeness must be willing to carve out dedicated time, setting aside moments of stillness to listen, reflect, and grow. Another key element in cultivating this relationship is obedience. A person cannot claim to desire intimacy while continually disregarding divine principles. Relationship is built on trust, and trust is established through alignment with spiritual values. When one consistently follows divine guidance, their connection strengthens, allowing them to receive wisdom, clarity, and supernatural favor. On the other hand, Constant disobedience and compromise create distance, making it harder to hear, discern, and operate under divine influence. Gratitude and reverence also play a vital role in deepening this relationship. A heart that is filled with appreciation attracts divine presence. Many focus on what they lack, failing to recognize the countless ways they have already been blessed. Those who cultivate an attitude of gratitude open themselves up to greater manifestations of favor and supernatural guidance. Honor and reverence further strengthen this connection as they reflect a deep recognition of the value and significance of the relationship. The rewards of cultivating a deep relationship with the divine are immeasurable. Those who invest in this connection walk in greater wisdom, peace, and clarity. They experience supernatural direction in times of uncertainty and strength in moments of weakness. Instead of living in fear, doubt, or confusion, they operate with confidence, knowing that they are never alone. A cultivated relationship does not just provide occasional spiritual experiences. It transforms an entire life, bringing fulfillment, purpose, and divine alignment in every area. A life that truly reflects divine nature is one that carries an undeniable mark of wisdom, peace, and purpose. It is not defined by mere words or religious routines, but by the visible evidence of transformation. Those who embody divine nature do not just speak of spiritual matters, they live in a way that makes their connection undeniable. Their actions, decisions, and character align with higher principles, making them stand out in a world filled with confusion and compromise. This kind of life is not built overnight. It is the result of intentional choices, daily surrender, and a commitment to walk in integrity. True reflection of divine nature begins within. It is not about external appearances or public displays, but about an inner transformation that shapes everything else. Many people attempt to modify their behavior without first addressing the state of their hearts. But true change starts from the inside out. When a person's mind and spirit are renewed, their words, actions, and attitudes naturally follow. They no longer respond to situations with fear, anger, or selfishness, but with wisdom, patience, and compassion. Their presence alone carries an atmosphere of peace because they are deeply rooted in something greater than themselves. A life that reflects divine nature is also marked by humility. It does not seek to impress others or gain recognition, but operates with quiet confidence, knowing that true greatness is found in service, not status. Those who carry divine qualities do not live for human validation because they understand that their purpose is far greater than temporary applause. Their humility does not make them weak. Rather, it gives them strength, allowing them to navigate challenges with grace and wisdom. They do not react emotionally to criticism or setbacks because their identity is not built on external approval, but on a deep, unshakable foundation. Another defining trait of this life is love. Their ability to love, even in difficult circumstances, sets them apart and draws others toward them. They become a source of light in dark places, demonstrating what it means to live with purpose, compassion, and integrity. Discipline and consistency are also essential in maintaining a life that reflects divine nature. It is not about occasional moments of inspiration, but about a commitment to walk in alignment every day. Many people start strong but become inconsistent when faced with challenges. However, those who truly embody divine nature remain steadfast, choosing discipline over convenience and long-term fulfillment over short-term gratification. Their consistency builds a legacy of influence, impacting not just their own lives, but the lives of those around them. A life that reflects divine nature is one of fulfillment, influence, and supernatural grace. It does not waver in the face of adversity because it is anchored in something unshakable. Such a life does not require loud declarations. It speaks for itself through the wisdom, peace, and unwavering strength it carries. A life that is truly pleasing to the divine is not built on fleeting emotions or surface-level devotion, but on intentional pursuit, unwavering obedience, and a deep commitment to spiritual alignment. It is a life marked by wisdom, purpose, and an unshakable connection with the supernatural. Those who walk in this reality do not struggle to find fulfillment because they understand that their greatest success is not in what they can achieve on their own, but in how closely they align with divine will. To sustain this relationship, one must cultivate an awareness of divine presence, seek knowledge to overcome ignorance, and walk in complete obedience. Partial commitment will never unlock the full measure of divine favor. Those who hesitate, compromise, or ignore the principles that sustain this connection will find themselves distant, frustrated, and unfulfilled. However, those who choose to honor, cherish, and prioritize this relationship will walk in clarity, supernatural provision, and unstoppable momentum. The world is filled with distractions that attempt to pull people away from divine alignment, but the rewards of staying connected far outweigh the temporary pleasures of self-direction. Walking in obedience, embracing divine wisdom, and cultivating a relationship built on trust and reverence are the keys to unlocking a life of purpose, power, and lasting impact. It is not about striving in human strength, but about surrendering to a higher calling that leads to true peace, favor, and transformation. The choice belongs to each individual. Will you live a life dictated by external influences and personal desires, or will you step into a reality where divine presence guides, empowers, elevates every aspect of your existence? Those who make the right choice will not only experience transformation in their own lives, but will become vessels through which others are impacted, inspired, and drawn toward greater truth. The greatest fulfillment in life is not found in personal ambition, but in walking in divine alignment, a path that leads to eternal significance, supernatural empowerment, and unshakable peace.